Welcome to another edition of the Mo Show Live, everybody. Hey, it's Morris Lilienthal. Okay, if you have followed the Mo Show, if you follow me on social, if we interact at all, you know that a lot of our world revolves in and around the city of Madison. And with Shannon teaching there, Wyatt goes to school there. If it bounces rolls, we've played ball there. And we're at practice there, or tryouts there. I'm in the Rotary Club there, got a lot of great friends in Madison. Madison is one of these communities that when I first came to North Alabama in the Huntsville area, it was like, oh, Madison was a spot in the road 25 years ago. It's no longer a spot in the road. And as the community has grown and the city has grown from 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, now like around 70,000 people, there's become an effort from a lot of local groups and organizations to really bring a lot of inspiration and vibe to downtown and to the effort to make Madison a better place to live. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with our guest, Christina Hearne, who is the executive director for the Madison Visionary Partners. And we're going to talk to Christina how her organization and its team comes together to work with others and other nonprofits and leaders in our community to make Madison a better place and community to live in. So, Christina, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited to have you. And like I said, I'm a little biased because we do so much in Madison and love to come and it's just neat to drive Madison. And if you haven't, and you take a turn on a road you hadn't turned on now, next thing you need, there's something new coming up or new going on. And there's new events coming to town and
Yep.
new great places to eat. So excited to talk to you a little bit about your organization's hands in trying to make Madison a better place to live and in entertainment and lots of other things to do. Folks, if you're joining us live here, please feel free to tune in and give us a question. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever, you got a question or comment, put it in there. We'll try to get to it. If you're watching the show on a replay, still put that comment in there. If there's something, I'll monitor the comments. Christina will monitor the comments. If there's some resource or something you want feedback on or information on, we'll try to put that there for you so you can get that after the fact. And please like and share so we can get some more eyeballs and ears on today's content to talk about the great things that Madison Visionary Partners is doing. So I guess I would just start for those that may not be familiar with your organization. Christina, can you kind of talk to us a little bit about kind of the history of, I think y'all call it MVP, and how it got started and kind of what your mission is, so people kind of understanding what you guys are trying to do and accomplish?
Absolutely. So we were founded back in 2014 by a group of local community and business leaders, and essentially just to garner philanthropic support and build collaborative partnerships for community projects. Our mission is connecting people who care with initiatives that enrich the quality of life in Madison. So we are a quality of life organization, and that looks like a lot of different things to people and to us. But we mainly do it through spaces and places in projects around town.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's amazing, and I know you have kids in school in Madison, and you're Madison centric. Got a lot of things going on in town, and it's fun when you talk to people that have been in North Alabama for a long period of time or have lived in Madison for a long period of time. And you talk about how Madison was 25 years ago compared to how it is now, say 2000 or a little bit before 2000 to 2025. It's amazing to hear. And just in my short time in North Alabama, in the last 16, 17 years, to ride down County Line Road, or ride down Hughes, or ride down Highway 72 and see all of the developments of retail space and living spaces and other things that are there. It's just amazing. But we want to have it set up to better serve our families. And I think that's where you guys help come in.
Absolutely. I think some of the projects that people are probably most familiar with that we had some involvement with is the mural trail. So, if you drive around anywhere in Huntsville, like I feel like I find new art murals anytime I'm in Huntsville.
Right.
But Madison just got, our first couple within the last year. And so that was through, a collaborative effort with the community to, go to our local leaders and get the law changed so that we could paint on the wall. And we, worked with some local artists in the area and got community support to help fund them. And so we've got two in downtown Madison.
Okay.
And then we're actually working to go back to city council to get that expanded where we can do it in other places in Madison. And so we're hoping that that kind of starts a movement where, next thing you know, you'll be like, wait, there's a new art mural. So, that's going to take a little time to kind of get that going. But we've already got some other folks that are interested in that, and which is what kind of triggered us to start that next conversation. And then Kids Kingdom at Dublin Park, that we were involved with that specifically for the fundraising to help get that playground renovated. It was dark and it was old. It was such an icon, the old Kids Kingdom,
Sure.
but it was time. It needed a fresh perspective, and now it's an all-inclusive playground so that more children can enjoy it in
Right.
Madison. And so that's just been, if you are ever over in Dublin, it is always covered up. Like it could be snowing outside, and there's kids out there playing. So that was a pretty amazing overhaul for that.
Well,
Um,
for folks that don't know, the Dublin Park is a big park in near city center in Madison that has soccer fields, has a gymnasium, has basketball courts, and pool, and then it has this amazing outdoor playground that has all these different activities and things. And because it was so popular, it needed some love.
that's
And
right.
so it's great to see that because it is kind of a great collecting point in a real great location for people to be able to collect, to take their kids and now to have all these things now in a more modern and convenient condition and better condition, and to be better served to allow more people to use it with different disabilities and things. Just makes it just even better spot to have in the community. So didn't mean to interrupt you, but just wanted to kind of
No,
get some
no,
perspective
absolutely.
on that
No,
for our
I
guests.
appreciate that. Not everybody is familiar with Madison. Some people
Yeah.
stay in their little bubble, and that's okay. But we also played a role in the new Madison Community Center. First of all, kudos to our local leadership for making that happen. It is incredible if you guys have
Mhm.
not been there. It's not just a community center, but also the senior center relocated there. And so we did fundraising for that project. That's one of the beautiful things about what we do is, um, Madison is a smaller town. We're growing, obviously. But sometimes there's things that we want to have done, but they're wants and not needs, right? And so um, that's where we can come in to help try to offset that cost to make projects either happen at all or happen much faster than they would otherwise, by offsetting that. And because we're a 501(c)(3), a lot of those individuals, families, grantors, local corporations, we're a nonprofit, so they get that tax benefit as well, which is one of the beautiful things. But also the senior center has relocated there.
Yeah.
And if you are familiar with what it was like before, it was much, much smaller. They only had the space to do, like maybe 2 activities at a time, and then they'd have to move the room around. And now, I mean, they've got so much going on at one time. I mean, they've already had to build another parking lot. They're already working on because it's just always so packed. That's been the only complaint that anybody has had is the parking, which is a good problem to have. But
That's just not right.
they've already gotten over 700 new members since they opened back in October.
Well, I kind of mentioned to you before we went live that I had an opportunity to volunteer at a senior event through our Rotary Club in Madison out there recently during the Mardi Gras party that we put on every year historically at the Senior Center, now at the new community center there. And I was blown away when I went there. And like I said, the only problem was I couldn't find parking. And
No,
somebody
popular
finally pulled
days
out.
for you.
And so but it was amazing, and we were in this beautiful, big, huge open space room, and, we, were able to set it up, and we were packed to the gills, and I volunteered a couple of times at this event. That may have been the most people we've ever had, and I started talking to people that were volunteering and working there, and it was just amazing to hear all the things, and I just kinda walked around a little bit in the area where I was. It's just a beautiful facility. There was a great use to repurpose an outdated facility that wasn't no longer used for a different purpose, and to put that in motion to better serve the community, and it's just great. And and I've driven down that road now that it's opened back up and there's been some repairs to the road, seeing that the new parking lot's going, and I thought to myself, well, that's a good thing. They need more parking and they're getting it. So it is
Yeah.
a beautiful facility. If you're in Madison and something's going on there, I suggest you check it out. Or if you have a senior in our local community that is looking for somewhere to go and do, what a great facility and resource for them.
Yes, they have so many amazing, activities. I mean, just everything from sourdough bread baking to Mardi Gras parties to ceramics to, chair yoga. They've got a gym, basketball court, pickleball every day. It's fantastic. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
yes, come check it out. Join. It's free to join the, senior center, and, I think they're taking it's either 50 or 55 and older now. They lowered the required age as well, so all are welcome.
That's awesome. Well, that's a great project and really a real benefit to our local community and to our seniors in the community as a whole. And I know you guys have some involvement in some other things. Can you tell us some? I know we talked a little bit earlier that you got some projects on the horizon that you're looking to try to get support behind and resources behind. And one of them that I mentioned to you before we went live was coming up with a Miracle League at Palmer Park. And for those of you that are not familiar with the Miracle League, a lot of communities have one. We're looking to get one in the Madison community. There's one here in Huntsville, and it is a baseball field that is built to help with those folks with mentally and physical disabilities to allow them to enjoy and interact in baseball with the help of a great team and folks surrounding them and do. And I can tell you, Christina, we've done that independently. We did it. The great thing, Bob Jones High School, where my son's a student, the baseball team participates that. And just what a tremendous resource that would be for locally in Madison. Talk to us a little bit about kind of how that's trying to get off the ground.
Yeah, so how that project came to be, so we have a fiscal, partner sponsorship program, and essentially that started with, sometimes there's a group of people who are maybe trying to start their own nonprofit, or they have a project that they're real passionate about and wanna get behind, but maybe it's not a project that we're gonna fully take on. Um, so we've got a few fiscal partners. We actually just had one who I'll say graduated. They've been with us for 2 years and they just got their 501(c)(3) status, and that's the Madison Arts Alliance. So that's been great. We essentially partner with them, help them, get their house in order, get organized. We handle all of the fiscal, the monies so that, as they're getting donations and trying to build their
Yes.
organization, they still have a nonprofit umbrella under them. So that's been pretty cool to watch, sort of our first success story from that. But Miracle League, essentially, a local citizen, Michael McKay, wanted to bring one here. He played ball and um, grew up helping and volunteering at Miracle League, and was just like, "Hey, we need one in Madison. All these people are going to Huntsville to either participate or volunteer. Let's get one here." So he went and talked to city leaders, and essentially they said, "Hey, if you can raise the funds to build it, we'll figure out where to put it." And so they've allotted
Okay.
some space at Palmer for it. And so now he's just in the fundraising portion of it, and we're acting as that umbrella to
Okay.
help raise those funds. So I know the community is really excited about that. Our city leadership is excited about that. And I think you've seen it in the things that are happening around town. We want to be a more inclusive community,
Yes.
and our city is doing a good job, I think, of that, of trying to add more opportunities for children, adults, families to have more opportunities there. So we're really excited about that. Just like with any, we're actually having a meeting later this week to kind of talk about the progress on that, to see what we need to do to kind of get it to the next level. And then we've got one other, the Shops of Historic Downtown Madison. So, a group of business owners downtown, they want to do a lot of things downtown. And they've got lots of people there willing to say, "Hey, I'll help organize this." But they didn't really have an umbrella, like, okay, if they get sponsors to help offset costs, who collects those funds? And they
Mhm.
need insurance, and, they don't have a formal entity yet.
Right.
And so we were able to step in and kind of fill that gap for them, and help them, be able to do the things that they want to do. And so it's just been cool to watch. And so now we're down to 2, just Miracle League and shops. And so, if there's ever a project that's a good fit, and that was, I think, Mayor Finley that said, "Hey, you guys need to talk to MVP about, being a fiscal partner with them while you're trying to raise funds for this project." So that's kind of how we got connected with Miracle League. So it's all about collaboration and partnerships and working together.
Yeah, and that's something that I've seen that really sets apart Madison and other very successful communities around the country is that when you have a great collaboration amongst local organizations, local business owners, local schools, local leaders, and you can have the synergy to try to come together to find a common set of beliefs and values to do what's best in the community. We all have different ideas, and that's fine. That's what makes it great. But trying to come together to do what's best and find a plan together to push forward efforts that are going to make our community a better place to live, work, and shop, and so forth and so on. And
That's
we
right.
have that in Madison
Yeah.
with the resources that we have, with the school system we have. Everybody wants to come to Madison because of our great schools. Now we need to give them other reasons to do that, and these to come live and shop there and do entertainment there. And that's what these things that you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about. I know one of the other things that MVP focuses on is providing grants to local nonprofits and organizations on a level that people have maybe little passion projects, ideas that they have, and they need just a little seed money to kind of to get them going. Talk to us a little bit about how that part of Madison Visionary Partners works.
Yeah. So we just gave our 3rd round of grants. So every year we open that up around the holiday season, November, December timeframe.
Okay.
Um, and any local nonprofits or organizations who are either doing work in Madison or want to be doing something in Madison, obviously that helps affect the quality of life because that's our mission. Then they can apply for a grant, and it's a micro grant, so it ranges from up to $2,500 for maybe a project they want to do or to go towards something that they're doing there. And this year we were able to give 9 different nonprofits a total of $15,000 to go toward some of the projects that they want to do. And those vary. And, we tried to be purposeful when we were picking them because we had like, I think 30 applicants this year, which is the most we've ever had. So,
That's
each year
great.
it's kind of growing. We hope to grow it every year. Um, and, uh, and that can range anywhere from, we gave some to Heals Inc., the clinic that they have a mobile unit that comes to Madison City Schools. And without them, there's a large number of our population at some of these schools that wouldn't have, access to health care. And then let's see, Fantasy Playhouse. They do summer camps in Madison and want to try to do something at the community center involving multi-generational. And so we helped fund that project. And then something that we try not to fund the same projects every year, but there's one that's very special. And you had Barney on your show.
Yeah.
That's the Pause for a Purpose therapy dogs that the goal is to have one in every Madison City school. And so they applied again this year for another one. And so it's just really cool things. And of course, we learn about things that we didn't have any idea were happening, or, sometimes there's projects that they're maybe doing it in Huntsville or somewhere else, and they want to do it in Madison. And so that was a really cool process to be able to be on this side of granting the funds. With all my experience in nonprofit world, I'm always the one asking for money.
Right.
That was a very fun new experience to get to be on the end of giving those funds to the groups that are doing some really cool work.
What a neat way to give back and do, and to be able to reach out to different aspects of things in the community and help here, there, and then a lot of people, certain projects like we talked about earlier may require a lot of resources, but then there are other lots of little things that you can make a big difference with just $1,000, 500, $2,000 here and there. And when you do that year in, year out, over the course of 5 or 10 years, you're going to make a really big impact. And those people are going to take that as a launching pad into doing something impactful in our community. And I think that's just tremendous. I know one of the things that you guys do is you like to you have this Madison Visionary Awards, and that's kind of a way that you recognize a lot of local volunteers, local people who are business people and organizations who are giving back. Tell us a little bit about what that is and how that program works and how I think you use that as a part of the fundraising campaign for your organization. Talk to us a little bit about that, and then I want to talk to you a little bit about some upcoming events and things that you're looking to highlight in the future.
Absolutely. So yes, that's sort of our signature event. It's
Okay.
our signature fundraiser, and all of the funds that we typically raise are earmarked for a project, so it's restricted funding. And while we do
Okay.
have a very lean budget, it's just myself and one other part-time employee, and we have a virtual office. We have very little overhead, and we try to really run on a lean budget. I mean, like every nonprofit in town, we're all trying to do a little with or a lot with a little.
Right.
Um, but we still have to make sure that we can, keep the proverbial lights on. So we use that as a fundraiser for us. And it's such a cool event. This was my first year getting to participate in it, and this was our third year. It was held back in March, and we get to honor those who give back so much to the community. So we do a about the same time the grants come open for application, we do a nomination process in the community where anybody can nominate, and we do a
Yes.
community volunteer of the year, youth volunteer of the year, philanthropic business person of the year, and then our big award is the visionary of the year. So that's someone who's been doing some amazing work, maybe for many years or their entire life, and so
Yeah.
and we get to honor, we pick kind of the 2 or 3 top, nominees from each category and, just really roll out the red carpet and do a lot of pomp and circumstance for them with stories and different magazines and videos. And it's just so cool because it's such a positive event. And it just, you leave feeling like, man, there's just some great people in the world. And you leave feeling like, what am I doing with my life? I need to be doing more. But it was just such a inspiring, event that, I'm thrilled that, Melanie Thornton, our previous, executive director, started that. It's just such a cool legacy for her to leave and just it's such an inspiring event, I think.
Well, I love it that you're recognizing people of all walks here that are making an impact in the community from including the youth. So you've got something to kind of recognize and inspire other young folks that are out there in the community. And it's truly amazing that when you get out there and you kind of touch base in the community, put your ear in the ground. If you're at Bob Jones or James Clemens or one of the middle schools, to see how many things that the youth are doing in our
Oh, yeah.
community and how smart these kids are and the resources that they can compile with their efforts and do. And it's really cool to see that. And I'm really grateful that you guys are recognizing them. And then certainly the other folks in our community, the Mark Jacobsons and the Debbie Overcashes
Yeah.
that I know that are in my Rotary Club that have done just such a yeoman's work for our local community there in Madison. And it's great that they're recognized for their efforts and the hard work and the sweat equity that they put in over the years to try to make Madison a better community. I know you've got a couple of things as we get closer to wrapping up. We've got a couple of things that you guys are wanting to talk
Yeah.
about. One was Serve Madison, which is a new service project that you guys are getting ready
Yes.
to kick off. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's a new initiative, Serve Madison. We have as part of our strategic plan, and it kind of parlays perfectly into talking about volunteerism. That's one thing that I've really quickly learned being in Madison. I mean, I'm born and raised in the Huntsville area, but I've only been living in Madison proper since last summer. And there's just so many people that want to volunteer
Mhm.
and are young people like you were talking about. I've never seen so many young people want to volunteer, and I know a lot of that is from some requirements for different organizations and stuff, but I think that's amazing. And so one thing I keep hearing is, oh, we want more opportunities to volunteer in Madison. The majority of our nonprofits are based out of Huntsville. While they may do work in Madison, they're physically located somewhere else. There's
Right.
a few here. And so we just kind of decided that let's try to connect those people that want to volunteer to try to keep them volunteering in Madison if that's what they want to do. And so
Perfect.
we've started, you can go to our website, mvpmadison.org, and right there you'll see Serve Madison, and there's a whole volunteer page where you can sign up for an email, to be on an email list, so that anytime there is a volunteer opportunity, we'll send an email out for it. And we're going to kick that
Okay.
off with a big weekend of service, June 27th and 28th. That's a Friday and Saturday. And we'll have
Okay.
multiple projects all over the city that you can sign up to help with. We'll be partnering with some of our other nonprofits, but then also some departments within the city that, sometimes they are short staffed or have big projects, things that they need help with, and they can't get to it and they don't have the funding to hire more
Right.
people. Finding people sometimes is a challenge for certain roles. So this is just a way that we can help connect people. And so we're kicking it off with that. But then in the future, anytime someone needs volunteers, they can come to us, and then we can kind of put a call out and build that database of people who are interested in serving.
That's a
So we're
great resource because you're right that, both of us have kids in school and in the high school and middle school ages, and a lot of the clubs and activities and sports teams require that. Then we just have a lot of kids because of the way of the makeup of our community, with a lot of veterans and active duty military and just a lot of great folks in our community overall that have a servant's heart. These people are passing that down to their children, and they're wanting to find activities to do. And I know that the activities that we've personally done a lot have been centric in Huntsville, just because it's been
Yeah.
easier to find nonprofits to do. So it would be a really great fit, because I know there's a lot of organizations. Maybe it's the senior center, maybe it's the Madison Public Library, maybe it's other areas in the community, our local community right there in Madison, that could use a few volunteers here or there. And being able to be a resource as kind of a central hub for that need is that's a great idea. I love it, Christina.
Yeah. And we may fail miserably, but it could be great. And that's what we're hoping for. So, you don't know if you don't try. So we're hopeful.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to do that, and folks, get the word out there. If you've got folks, I know there are a lot of organizations that are always looking for volunteers throughout the year or for certain events. And if you've got something going on in Madison and you need some help, then maybe reach out to MVP and see if they can help get the word out for you, and be a hub to try to fill some of those needs for volunteers. And then you mentioned one other thing that you wanted to kind of talk
Yeah.
about, which was Gather. Talk to us a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, so we are starting a new event in Madison. It is a community-wide free Thanksgiving event. It's called Gather Madison, and it will be in November. We're still finalizing all the details on it, so I don't have a whole lot to share other than just stay tuned. But it's going to be an incredible time where people can just come out and enjoy a meal together. We'll have some entertainment, some activities for the kids, and just break bread with your neighbors. That's like the best way to get to know somebody, is to share a meal with them. And so we're really excited about that. We'll have one big long table, down a street, and it's just going to be a cool, you know, family friendly event. So stay tuned for more info on that. We're
Awesome.
also bringing back the Witches Ride. Again, that's around Halloween time. So we'll have that again, starting over down by Journey Middle School and going up Garner, ending at Home Place Park. So we'll have that'll be October 19th. That's a Sunday afternoon. So, you can go to our website, mvpmadison.org, and sign up for our newsletter. We only email you like once a month with just what's going on. So yes, please go sign up for that newsletter, and we're not going to spam you. We're not going to email you a million times. We're just going to give you the good deets. So
We'll do that and sign up for the newsletter. And then I know you guys have a great social media presence, and the easiest way to find your social media channels is to go to Madison Visionary Partners website there, and y'all have a quick link over to that, and y'all can help keep updated on what's going on and the things that you guys are looking to push out and bring attention to, and what other issues and things that you guys are wanting to push out to the local community. So last thing, and I guess kind of centric, or maybe following up on what we've been talking about the whole time, but if people are passionate about this and passionate about getting involved or helping, what can they do to help you guys, either from donations, volunteering? What can we do to help you and support you
Yeah,
guys?
absolutely. Of course, we are always taking donations just to MVP in general. I don't know what our next big project's going to be. There will be something coming. We won't. We're kind of in between. We just finished up the community center, and so there will be something else that we will be raising funds for. And so, just if there's something you're interested in or passionate about, please reach out. Also, if you have ideas about things, projects that maybe we haven't thought of yet,
Okay.
or things that are needed in our community, reach out to us, your city council. I mean, we all work together to try to make things happen, regardless of who's got to take the lead on it or who's raising the money for it. We all want the same thing. So, I just urge you to shoot me an email if you got an idea, or if you want to get involved. We're always looking for committee volunteers, board members. Obviously, that Madison is important to them. So if that's something you're interested in too, let me know.
Sure. Well, folks, I can tell you that if you come to North Alabama and you drive through on 565 or around Highway 72 and you land in Madison, you're going to find a bustling, charming little town with a great school system, with a lot of great caring people. And the community is growing, and there are a lot of great things going on. It's because of people and organizations like Madison Visionary Partners, alongside with a lot of community leaders and community volunteers that are looking to grow and make our community a better place. And with growth comes a lot of challenges, and that's where organizations like Madison Visionary Partners comes together to team up with our local leaders, our local schools, and our local community activists to try to figure out better ways to make our community a better place. Christina, thank you and your team and all you do to inspire folks and to bring about change in a positive way to Madison, to include more people, to encourage volunteerism, and to make our community a better place to live. And I appreciate all you're doing. And folks, if you've got questions or again, we shared it several times, check out their website, go there, get on the newsletter, and follow them on social. And I think you're going to see a lot of more great things happening in the city of Madison. I'm, uh, I'm going to be certainly taking advantage of it and supporting you guys. Thank you for your time today, Christina.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.